Hi, you're watching Michelle with Michelle's Life. Today's video is my TBR check-in number 1 for July. So let's just review exactly what I said I was going to be reading this month in the first place. I started the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but I have a really hard time reading books if I've already seen the movie. I wholeheartedly believe that it's an amazing series, but I just had a really hard time getting into it, and so I put it down and picked up other books instead. I do recommend joining the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Along, that Kayla, Trina, Sylvia, and Emily are hosting. I'll leave their Goodreads group link down below, so if you want to participate in that. It's still all month long, so definitely go check it out. Unfortunately, I will not be participating in it. I did finish and buddy read You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Levithan with Lily over at Sweet Love Books. We both felt pretty much the same, and she rated the book 3.5 stars and I rated it 3. It was a good book, and I loved how many different queer point of views there were. We had Kate, who was a lesbian character, and she was working through her friendship struggles and romance struggles, and then we had Mark, who was a gay character, and he was working through similar struggles between what do you do with a friendship if you're in love with that friend and that friend doesn't reciprocate. So it was an interesting story, and it was a very fast-paced read. I just don't think it's gonna stick with me for a really long time. Nothing really stood out to me. I did like the mention, I think it's called the Angel Project, that was mentioned in the book. It definitely made me realize that I really want to contribute to some of the LGBTQIA shelters. I know that we have one here in Little Rock, someone informed me about it. So I definitely think that I will be contributing to that before I leave, and hopefully after I leave as well. And I do want to find some more LGBTQIA shelters in Florida as well when I move home. So that's probably the only thing I got out of the book, which, don't get me wrong, is a great thing, but that's probably all I'm going to remember about this book, other than the awesome experience I had buddy reading it with Lily. So I have yet to read A Little Life, because Crystal contacted me and we planned to read it on the 25th of the month, so we're still going to get to it, we just haven't yet. I'm currently in the middle of Dorian Gray with Jody, and we are absolutely loving it. I'm having some really weird deja vu moments though, because I feel like I've read it before. There's this scene where, I hope this isn't a spoiler, but there's this romantic scene where Dorian falls in love with this actress, and then he becomes a complete jerk about it, and it seems really familiar. I must have at least started Dorian Gray before and didn't finish it or something. I don't know if I'm just that old. I mean, 26 isn't that old. I should remember if I've read Dorian Gray before, but the first book I actually finished this month was Sweet Reckoning by Wendy Higgins, and I absolutely adored that book. I talked all about it in my yearly check-in videos, and I rated it 5 stars, 4.5 stars. I just really enjoyed the way that she wrapped things up. I love that all 3 of her books were the same size, that she was able to manage to complete arcs in that time period and in those page lengths, and everything made sense, everything was wrapped up. The characters all grew immensely, and I love that they finally included a queer Neff character, though very briefly. And I just really enjoyed the series. I love the way that it talked positively and showed you a positive sexual relationship with the characters in the book and what that looks like. I thought it was very healthy, and I thought it was really well done, and I just really loved that trilogy. The next book that I finished, but I really wanted to finish it last month and not this month, but anyway, I think I finished it on the 1st or the 2nd of this month, was Sleeping Tom, and I have a full review of this book, so I'll link that down below. I wound up giving this 3 stars. This is all over BookTube currently. Evie is just an amazing person, and I think the second book came out this month, Awaken Gabriel, so I'll leave a link to both of these books down below if you want to check them out. The next book that I finished is a graphic novel, Saga Volume 6. This just recently came out, I think July 5th, so I ordered it right away on Amazon, and I adored this addition to the series. It was just really well done. I love the addition of a new queer character and just the way that this series talks about diversity. I actually haven't found a really good article on why Saga is so good that I will include down below. I'll just read you some quibbits from that article really quick. Here's the point. To all us readers, Saga gives us a promise of freedom to be whoever we want and make our own choices without fear of being judged or punished. Diversity is beautiful, every page screams, as the book gets us acquainted with Noah's Ark of fiction species. Let's look how the pile of polarly different characters promotes the idea of diversity. It's really good. The next book I finished was also a graphic novel, and that is Giant Days, Volume 1 by Allison Treeman and Cougar. I heard about this series on Kristen over at What's Happening's channel, and then Sylvia over at Wish Fulfillment reviewed the first 10 issues of this. I only have the first 8 issues in the 2 bind-ups, but I absolutely adored this volume. I gave it 5 stars. I read it really quickly. I loved all the different topics that are brought up in this. The series is about 3 girls who wind up as dorm mates their freshman year of college, and just how different they are, but yet they click so well together, and the different attributes that they contribute to their friendship is just really, really great. The humor for each character is very unique and diverse, but really, really great. You can definitely see each of these characters as a real person in real life, and I loved how there they were for each other and trying to figure out where they fit in the university setting as well as just in their own skin. One of the 3 girls is also a lesbian. I love the way they all supported each other, and just the feminism topics that are in here were really great, and it was just really fantastic. The next volume I also burned through. I gave this one 4 stars. I still loved it. I wasn't as excited while I was reading it. I don't know. It definitely was really good and just as intriguing and character driven as the first one. But yeah, I definitely recommend this series. I'm waiting for the 3rd one to be bound up so that I can buy it in book form instead of single issues. But I'm having a really hard time coming to terms with waiting until November. So we'll see. I might pick it up earlier than that, but I definitely recommend you go check these out. The next book that I read, I actually have a review for. It came out on Monday, so if you want to go check that out. I was contacted by the author Callista Lynn to check out her book that was being released on July 14th, and I actually finished reading the book on July 14th, and that is We Awaken. It is her debut novel featuring an asexual protagonist. And there are actually 2 asexual characters in the book and a female-female romance. So if you're looking for diversity, check that one out. Her writing is phenomenal. She reads as an already existing published author, which, I mean, now she is published, but I mean, her writing is so beautifully artistic that it sounds like she's honed her craft and has had many, you know, New York Times bestseller books already, and it was really good. I do want to say that it does feel a little like info dumping about asexuality when you're reading, but again, like, I think it's important at the same time for the reader and just everyone in general to understand what asexuality is. The plot of this book is that Victoria is our main protagonist, and her father and brother were recently in a traumatic car accident where the father was killed and the brother is now in a coma. The mother is obviously destroyed and devastated, and Victoria herself is still trying to finish out high school and go to college, and she's also working with her sexual identity. Her best friend, who she hasn't really been connecting with since this traumatic event, is very sexually active and is very pushy towards Victoria. So we get to see Victoria's inner struggle with her sexuality, and in doing so, we are taken into her dream world where she has reoccurring nightmares of her brother and father's accident, but this night she has a good dream where she meets this woman who turns out to be a sand woman named Ashlyn. Ashlyn creates good dreams, and Ashlyn is asked to return the following night, and she agrees as long as Victoria doesn't remember her coming. That doesn't happen, and they form this beautiful friendship, and it does become a romance, and it's just really good. Ashlyn tells Victoria right away that she identifies as asexual. So I do have a full review of this on my channel, and I'll link it down below for you to go check out. I wound up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. And then I also started, after all the hype, I gave in and I started reading A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. And by that I mean I bought it on my Kindle. I didn't like the first book at all. The last 30% of the book was okay. I liked the trials. I think Sarah J Maas as a writer has learned from Throne of Glass and all of the criticism about the trials that Celaena went through and how unassassin-like they were. So I can see through her novels that she has toughened up these experiences that these women are going through, and that definitely shows in A Court of Mist and Fury, where a lot of these trials that she's going through in order to get to her goal, they're actually excruciatingly hard, and as a reader you can see that. Like, she almost dies, and it's just, Sarah J Maas as an author has definitely grown, and you can tell that she takes her criticism and she fixes it. And that's what a lot of people have said in their reviews and their wrap-ups about this book, and that is why I wound up picking it up, is that they said that it's a million times better than the first book. And as a person who wasn't a fan of the first book, I have to agree. It's really, really good. So it did take me about 200 pages to get into it, but I don't know if that's a flaw on Sarah J Maas or just on me being like, I'm not gonna like this. But I'm 50 to 60% through now, and I'm addicted. So if you're questioning whether or not to read the second book and you didn't like the first one, just borrow it from the library. It's worth it. It's pretty good. That's it for this TBR check-in. Like I said, I'm still going to finish Dorian Gray, A Little Life with Crystal Lynn in a couple of weeks, but I'll check in again soon. Let me know down below what your favorite read of this month has been so far. I think mine has to have been Giant Days, the graphic novel. It was so good. Definitely go check it out. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!